It's one of the most heated debates of our time. Is global warming caused by human activity, like burning fossil fuels? Or is the warming of the planet due to natural causes? According to NASA, there's no question where responsibility lies. Research by the respected space agency shows that 97% of scientists agree that humans are responsible for global warming. Yet, there are still many people who don't believe that. The Pew Research Center reports that 26% of Americans believe global warming is the result of natural causes. It's a controversy we're not going to be able to resolve right now on Teen Kids News. But, as Ava reports, there is a downside of one particular fossil fuel that just about everyone agrees on.
Despite advances in wind, solar, and other forms of green energy, our world still runs on oil. It fuels most of our cars, ships, planes, and factories. It heats our homes and helps produce electricity. And it's also a major component in countless products, from clothing to plastics to lipsticks. Moving oil from where it's found to where it's refined is not only a big business, it's a problematic one. That's because when transporting oil, whether by ocean-going tanker, truck, or pipeline, there's always a chance that some of it will leak. One of the most disastrous leaks was from the ship Exxon Valdez. In 1989, it ran aground off the coast of Alaska, pouring more than 10 million gallons of oil into the ocean. The spreading slick ran along the once pristine coast for 1,300 miles, covering rocks, birds, and other marine life in thick, deadly sludge. An even worse oil spill took place in 2010, not from a ship, but from a drilling rig in the Gulf of Mexico. An explosion on the Deepwater Horizon caused a huge fire and released more than 130 million gallons of oil. The massive spill spread out for miles. That's the oil, the yellow stuff on the right, drifting towards the Alabama seashore. Floating plastic tubes called booms were used to try to contain the spreading slick. Another technique to minimize the damage was to burn off some of the floating sludge. Despite all the efforts, thousands of gallons of oil pushed by the wind covered the coastline of Louisiana and neighboring states. Beaches had to be closed, while workers battled to save as many sea creatures and birds as possible. It took 87 days and hundreds of highly skilled technicians to finally stop most of the leak. The impact on marine life was devastating, as was the harm to businesses and homes along the coast. Not all oil spills are on water. The Keystone Pipeline runs from oil fields in Canada to refineries in Texas. In 2022, a leak developed in the pipeline in northern Kansas. 546,000 gallons of thick crude oil poured over the ground. It was the worst oil spill on land in U.S. history. The Keystone is basically a large continuous tube made up of long, hollow pipes, like the ones you see on this truck. A ditch is dug and the pipes are connected and buried underground. Even before the leak, the pipeline drew protests from thousands worried about its impact on the environment. When Teen Kids News continues, I'll tell you about one innovative plan to not just clean up oil spills, but to protect our waterways from them. Be right back. Welcome back. A few minutes ago, I told you about a major problem that is damaging our environment. Ships, pipelines, and drilling rigs are some of the offenders. The sad truth is that as long as our oil is being drilled or transported, damage to our waterways and landscapes is no doubt inevitable. And that's why finding ways to quickly and efficiently deal with oil spills is a pressing priority. And the organization called Matter of Trust has a surprisingly simple and efficient way to deal with these problems. Lisa Gautier is the president of Matter of Trust, and Vivian Dang is an intern who's been working with the organization for more than a year. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Lisa, your organization has a program called Hair Matters because hair plays a vital role in cleaning up oil pollution.
Hair is amazing. It soaks up oil and it is plentiful and a renewable resource that we can use in a variety of ways to collect oils and chemicals.
What's special about hair that makes it so good at collecting oily liquids?
One of the things that we like to say is that you shampoo because hair collects oil. And so it's the structure of the hair that it gets coated in grease and oil and pollution.
To illustrate that, here's an excerpt from a video you did showing how hair collects oily liquids.
When oil contacts a strand of hair, the oil clings to it. The oil coats the hair in layers on the hair surface. This is called adsorption. Researchers have found that each hair adsorbs 3 to 9 times its weight in oil.
And this works with more than just hair, right?
Yes, we collect hair, fur, wool, fleece, recycle it, and we felt it into mats that soak up oil spills.
Vivian, Lisa said you take hair, fur, and other fibers and felt it into mats. What does felt it mean?
Yes, that's basically gluing hair together into a big hair mat, like imagine a carpet, that's hair.
Where does all the hair, fur, and etc. come from?
Our hair is collected primarily through donations, and it's a lot of people. It's either ranchers, salons, pet owners, or individuals who just want to come in who have just cut their hair and want to donate their hair.
So once you collect the hair, what's next?
So then we sort it. We make sure that it is 100% debris free. That's very important, that there's no pins or aluminum foil or food or wrappers or any kind of rocks in the hair and in the wool and the fleece. We hold it for a month to make sure that there's no lice or ticks or ringworm or any sort of critters in there that are still alive. And then we start to felt it.
Vivian, earlier I gave examples of major oil leaks, but most oil polluting our world doesn't actually come from these disasters, right?
Yes, it doesn't. Approximately 50% of the oil that ends up in waterways or oceans come from leaked oil from vehicles.
Oil from the cars and things get onto the streets, and the rain mixes with that, and it gets into storm drains.
And creates runoff into waterways and then eventually the ocean, which creates a big environmental issue.
So how are the felted mats used?
We use the mats to either soak up diesel spills or collect plastic litter and use motor oil that might be illegally dumped into storm drains, etc.
You have people around the world helping with hair matters. How can teens get involved?
We love working with teens, so we're always excited to have interns sign up, and we have a whole questionnaire on our website, and anybody can just fill it out and contact us, and we're always excited to have youthful energy in the project.
Gotta say, it really seems like a brilliant idea. Thanks for talking with us.
Thank you very much.
Matter of Trust says that in addition to helping to clean polluted water, they want to reduce the amount of useful fibers that end up in our landfills, not to mention creating green jobs in the process. And speaking of jobs, if you're looking for a service project, you can collect these fibers from your local salon and barbershops. If you're interested in finding out more, visit their website, matteroftrust.org. For Teen Kids News, I'm Ava.